So in the beginning of the story, we are shown a man named Marco at nighttime, who at this time went to deal with a Russian dealer named Robert. Marco asks him, "Where is my stuff?" After which he signals his nephew to bring the goods. Now his nephew goes and brings the goods, and Robert starts looking at the money. After getting the full amount, Robert takes out the keys of a B car and gives it to Marco, and gives it to him, and also says that your luggage is in the trunk at the back of the car. After saying this, something happens to Robert due to which blood starts coming out of his mouth, and he falls down. Seeing this, his nephew comes running and Marco shoots him with a gun. Marco then burns the whole place to get rid of all the evidence. Then he goes and checks the trunk of the car and finds a suitcase inside. The scene shifts, and we are shown the main hero of the movie named Than. Here we see his wife Nora. They also see her who is pregnant due to this. Than was very happy. At night, both get ready and leave for their work. Both work at the same airport, though their work is different. Upon reaching the airport. After that, Nora goes to her work after bibbling Than, and here then immediately wears his clothes and comes to the meeting. Friends, today was a special day of Christmas. So because of that, there was going to be a lot of crowd at the airport. So that is why today, all the security guards will have to take extra security measures. So in today's meeting, their supervisor, whose name is Jack, tells all these people about the work. When everyone gets to know about the work, then everyone starts working on their own. They get busy with their work. Here the Thane tells his friend Jason, "That friend, I want to get a promotion. I don't want to check people. Rather, I want to be on the scanner," on which Jason says that you should ask the supervisor once. One should go and talk to him. Then he goes to the supervisor and talks to him nicely and asks for his promotion. He keeps saying this repeatedly, on which the supervisor says that, "Look, today, there is a lot of crowd, so you cannot stay here today. Rather, you can see later." But then says that I will take care of everything. Please give me a chance and see now, when he understands this thing. When I was doing this, Jason, the supervisor and everyone was there. Jason said, "Okay, it doesn't matter. You can take my place today." Now in this way, Jason comes and sits on the scanner on which he used to sit and checks all the goods. The scanning starts working properly, and now the scene shifts outside the airport where we see a car stopping in which we see a man named Rayleigh, who had kidnapped a man. Here we come to know that he is a very big hacker because he hacks the entire airport's camera in one go. Not only this, we also see that Riley has sent one of his men to Jason's house to pick up his family. But when it is revealed that the place where Jason is supposed to live is occupied by someone else named Than. He gets quite surprised. After this, Riley immediately takes out the complete birth chart of Than. Now, for whatever purpose these people were going to fulfill, they will have to contact Than. So at this time, we see a girl who is Than. Kay was in the line and she tells him that this is not my luggage. When Than takes the luggage, there was a small airbird in it. At the same time, Than gets a message on his phone that put this airboat to your ear or butt. As soon as he puts it on, a man starts talking to him. Whoever that person is, he tells Than that if you love your life, then do as I say. Meanwhile, we are shown Rayleigh, who is with one of her men. He had sent him to Than's house. His man finds a slip at Than's house, which belonged to his girlfriend Nora, and through this, he comes to know that Than's girlfriend, i.e., Nora, is pregnant. He directly tells Than that, if you want to save your wife's life, then do as I say. He tells Than that, look, you don't have to do much. Just a person will come in your line and he will have a suitcase. Just let him go after checking that suitcase. Don't stop him. If you do this work, then your wife and you will get a new lease of life. Now the guy who was talking to Than was not Rayleigh. Rather, Rayleigh was also talking to the same guy with whom Than is talking right now. So who is that guy? You will get to know right now. But at this time, Riley was taking out Than's complete birth chart and telling it to the man with whom Than was talking at that time. After listening to that man, Than becomes convinced that whoever that man is, he knows everything about her. He also knows where Nora is at this moment and what work she is doing. Now, even after knowing all this, that man was trying to be smart. He was trying to do something about He quietly takes out his phone and starts calling the police, but Rai finds out about it at the same time. That man tells Than to cut the coal right now or else your wife will be killed. One of my men has pointed an assault rifle at your wife's head. If you don't cut the coal right now, then your wife will be finished. Unless that man, He was explaining to Than that in the meanwhile a call had been made to the police. The police had received the call, but Than did not answer, because he did not want to lose his wife, because the life that he is living at the moment, there is no way to stay in it. There is no one else except him, so he thinks a lot, and after thinking, he cuts the call. On the man saying, Than takes his phone and locks it in the drawer and comes back and sits on his seat. Than asks the man if he is a terrorist, to which the man replies that no, I am just doing my job. I have been given a job, to which Than asks again what is in that suitcase on which he has. The man says that you don't need to know this, just help me carry that suitcase to the plane. What if the suitcase doesn't reach the plane, or someone opens it, your wife will be killed. What should I do? Your luck is bad because you have come and sat in Jason's place. Even if Jason was in your place, he would have been ready to do the same thing. It happens because we have kidnapped his wife and child. Well now, Than felt that the matter was clear, so once again he tries to show his smartness and starts typing the message in the smart watch that was in his hand. But Riley comes to know about this again, and now Riley immediately tells this to the man with whom Than was talking. Then that man tells, Then that look, I will not give you a chance again and again. Delete the message and be smart. Take the watch and lock it in the drawer. Poor Than gets trapped. He goes again and this time locks the watch in the door. Than had now realized that he cannot do anything by sitting here, because they have their eyes on her. The scene shifts, and we are shown a police officer named Alana, who has now gone to the scene where Marco killed Robert and his nephew when they gave Robert the identification chip. Tom is given the job of extracting whatever information is inside that chip. There was a recording inside that chip, which it recovers, but the problem was that whatever was recorded in that chip could not be heard properly because of burning. The scene shifts, and we have to hear it again. Is shown where we see that the man was telling then that my man is about to come, but till he comes we talk to each other, when the man was talking to Than. Than said to him, he was trying to find him by listening to the background sound because the man who was talking to Than all this time was sitting around here, and finally he finds the man who was sitting in a black hat, now here. But Than thought that the man was not looking at him, so then once again tries to show his smartness by saying his lines. He takes the boarding pass of the man standing there and starts writing something on it, about which Riley comes to know. He writes something on the boarding pass with an invisible pen and gives it to the police. As soon as the police sees that boarding pass, when he burns the top of the pen, he finds out what Than has written. Now the police was informed about this danger. They were going to warn others about this, but at that moment, then he sees that the man who was talking to him has disappeared from his place. Than did not know this, but the same man comes back and collides with the policeman. Meanwhile, he does something to the policeman, due to which the policeman. He falls down, and before the crowd gathers, the man takes the boarding pass from the policeman, and finally, here he sees the face of the man with whom he has been talking for so long. Here let me tell you that the man you saw in the beginning of the movie is none other than Marco. Marco goes to Robert and brings the suitcase. Marco sits next to Than and takes out the boarding pass. He starts reading everything Than had written on the boarding pass. Marco says that you are very smart, but if you try to be smart here, then your wife might die. If you love your wife, then this is your last chance. If you make any mistake after this, then your wife will be killed with just one signal from me. Now immediately go to your scanner. Sit down. My man must be coming, but friends, another problem arises in front of Than, because now the supervisor has again made Jason sit in Than's place. Jason says that you will have to go and talk to the supervisor. When he goes and talks to the supervisor, then the supervisor tells him that, look, a policeman has died, the matter is serious, so I want you not to be on the scanner because you don't know the scanners work properly yet. You should go and search the men. After saying this, the supervisor goes away. But Marco says that you have to remove Jason. You have to go and sit on him yourself. Do whatever you want. Just remove him, otherwise the lives of Jason's wife, children, and your Nora can be in danger. Now an idea comes to Than's mind. That is Jason. To remove him from there, he immediately takes alcohol and mixes it in the coffee. After mixing alcohol in the coffee, he takes it to Jason and says that I am unable to find my phone. Look, maybe it has fallen down. As soon as Jason bends down to check the phone, Than changes his coffee. After doing this, Than says that maybe my phone is lying in the drawer. After saying this, he goes away from there. And here Marco goes to the supervisor and tells him about the alcohol. The supervisor goes to Jason and checks the coffee, and there is alcohol in it, although Jason says that it is not mine. But still, the supervisor doesn't listen to him and fires him from the job. And then once again, the supervisor makes Than sit under the scanner. Hey friends. Now the main scene is going to start from here. The person who was going to come with the suitcase, his name was Mattel. He had to wear a red-colored hat, and now he had come in the line of Than. He also had that suitcase, and now Than's job was to check the suitcase and then let it go. The scene shifts, and we are shown Alana, who was listening to the recording carefully. By listening to the recording repeatedly, she gets some information. Actually, she is the owner of the suitcase. In the recording, there was mention of some Russian poison. That poison is used by the Russians as a weapon, and this poison is so dangerous that it can turn the surrounding environment into hell and can take the lives of many. Now here, the Matu. He had put the suitcase in the line and was checking the suitcase. After this, when he checked the thing inside the suitcase, then he found out that it was some kind of weapon. Now finally, what is this weapon? Than did not know how it worked, but he definitely knew that this weapon, it can clean the whole plane, and this is the same poison that the Russians have made, about which Alana was doing research some time back. Now after knowing about this weapon, Than's condition worsens, and he immediately goes to the washroom and starts vomiting. Marco comes to see him and tells him not to do anything smart until the suitcase is on the plane, and then let things go on as they are. Then he says that the plane you are carrying, that suitcase, there are 00 people in it, wives and children. Why do you want to kill them? To which Marco says that I do not want to kill anyone. I am just doing my job. This is my job. Than says, don't do it, stop yourself. You will also become a partner in this sin. Friends, the scene shifts, and we are shown a federal agent named John who came to Alana. Alana wants to do more research about that Russian poison. That's why federal agents were sent, and at that very moment Tom comes running to Alana. And he tells him that some time ago a security guard called the police from an airport by the name of Ether. The call lasted for about 10 seconds, but there was no response. Tom also tells that at the same airport, a policeman had a heart attack. Now, after hearing this information, Elena gets suspicious and decides to go to that airport. She wanted to go to that airport and talk to Than, but it was going to take time to reach that airport, so she wanted to do some tests before coming. Policemen are sent to the airport for checking. The policemen come and close all the lines and checking areas. Now, if I tell you in a way, an emergency case had come up. That is why the supervisor was telling all the people that each one has to be checked properly. Now the Thane here uses his brain once again. He takes the machine from his supervisor and puts the name of the mat in it. After writing his name, he starts the machine. He takes it and gives it to the supervisor. After everybody leaves, Jason comes to Than and gives him he says that you are a very mean person, because Jason came to know that the person who mixed alcohol in his coffee was none other than Than. Now, as Than had entered Matt's name in the supervisor's machine, so the supervisor he immediately goes and takes Mutt into custody. But when Marco sees the supervisor taking Mutt away with him, he asks Than what is going on, to which Than says, I don't know. I am sorry. Now I cannot support you. After saying this, he takes out the airbird from his ear and runs downwards. He runs downwards because his wife was working downstairs. He goes to Nora, and he just wanted to take her and leave from there. But at that moment, Than saw a laser light on Nora's head, because Riley had pointed a sniper on his head. Now Than knew that if he opened his mouth, then his wife would be in trouble. Went for work, so she deployed the airboat. He comes in the washroom, and the very next moment, Marco also comes here, who starts beating Than continuously. He tells Than that I am telling you again and again not to make mistakes, but you are making mistakes again and again when Than was holding him. Then Than takes out an electric gun from his pocket and points it at him. Marco says that you will not mend your ways. After saying this, he takes out his phone and activates whatever weapon was in that suitcase. Marco says that, look, there will be an explosion after 10 minutes, and there are about 6,000 passengers here. All of them will be killed. Marco says that the decision is in your hands. Do you want to kill 00 people or 6,000 people? If not, Then inform your supervisor immediately. Go near and take that suitcase. Go to the back of the suitcase. I will tell you how to close it now, then comes out from there, and starts running towards the place where supervisor had gone with Matt, then with gun K directly comes in and points the gun at the supervisor. Thon was unable to fire the gun, so Matu picks up the pen and attacks the supervisor with it. Seeing this, Thon starts hitting Matu and says that, "After all, why did you do this?" After which Matu tells that my brother is in their captivity. I want to save my brother. Well, after this, Marco was telling Than everything, like how to open the suitcase and how to defuse the bomb. After opening the suitcase slowly, he takes out the chemical, and there was a button under the chemical which he presses. On pressing the button, the timer stops. Here the scene shifts, and we are shown Alana, who was going with Joan to the airport where Thon was. Tom calls Alana and tells her that the federal agent Joan sitting with you is not the real Joan. In fact, the real Joan has just been sent to the real after finding out. Alana takes out her gun and points it at him and asks him. Then John starts increasing the speed of the car. He wanted to snatch the gun from Alana's hand by disturbing the balance of the car intentionally, but they meet with a very bad accident. Both of them get badly injured due to the accident, but when John regains consciousness, he is strangling Alana. Alana gets a chance, and she shoots John with her gun. Here we are shown that the Thane was going to the cargo with that suitcase on Marco's instructions, but at that time, Marco makes Matu talk to his brother, and after talking, Marco tells Matu that now you have to do one last thing. After saying this, Matu takes out his gun and starts shooting at Thon. Luckily, Thon sees the mirror and saves himself. When the fight was going on between these two, the suitcase also fell on its own. It falls down and gets lost somewhere. Matu was firing the gun again and again, and once the gun, she backs away and gets shot, killing Mattel. Then Thon takes Mattel's phone and tries to call Nora, but she is probably busy at work, so she doesn't answer the call. Then he leaves a message for one of his special friends who works at the same airport. In the message, he tells that Nora's life is in danger. Meanwhile, he comes down looking for the suitcase, and after seeing the bullet, he shoots him with the gun, but still he doesn't stop and runs away because the bullet had hit his leg. Marco says, "Look, give me that suitcase. Then go away, I won't harm you." Next, we see that Thon has actually abandoned the suitcase, and he leaves from here. Now, as Marco had told Riley to go and kill Nora, so the one who was Riley was after Nora. Nora somehow comes and hides in the parking area. Here she dodges Riley and attacks him on the head with a bottle and runs away. At the same time, we see that Thon also comes running and catches Nora. Here, Riley was about to shoot them with a gun, but then someone shoots him with a gun. The one who shot him was none other than Matu's brother, whom Riley had kidnapped and killed in a van. When Thon tells him that the affair of saving you, he becomes very sad because your brother has died. The problem is not over yet. Thon still has to go and stop Marco so that he does not board the plane with the suitcase, but it was too late because he was already on the plane. It had arrived. Now the good thing was that Thon had removed the barcode from some other suitcase and pasted it on this suitcase, meaning that now this suitcase will definitely get scanned. As soon as the suitcase is scanned, Thon gets to know that it is from this suitcase. At that time, he is on a plane, and he tells Nora that I can defuse that bomb because I have done it before. You go to Alana now and tell her not to stop the plane. After that, Thon runs away and saves him. He goes towards the plane, which is about to take off, but Elena is calling the security system and asking them to stop the plane. After that, Thon runs away and saves him. He goes towards the plane, which is about to take off, but Elena is calling the security system and asking them to stop the plane. Then Nora comes to him and tells him not to stop the plane. Let it take off. If you try to stop the plane, it can activate the bomb. That bomb is gone. To defuse it. He has defused the bomb before. He can do it. Here we see that before the plane takes off, Van goes inside the cargo. Alana had no option, so she tells the security that the plane is allowed to take off. After this, the plane is not stopped. Rather, it takes off safely. But as soon as Thon takes the suitcase and opens it, Marco gets to know about this information. He goes to the plane and finds out that Thon has come on the plane and he is tampering with the suitcase. Marco comes in the cargo hold to check and he points a gun at Thon. He shoots Thon. He does this due to which he gets shot in his leg again. Because of this, the pilot comes to know that there are armed men in the cargo, so he turns the plane back towards the airport. Here, the gunman takes the suitcase to the ground. It was kept inside the freezer. Marco opens the freezer comfortably, and when he checks the suitcase, there was no chemical inside it. Because Thon had the chemical in his hands, after pushing Marco inside the chemical, he throws the cc of that chemical in the freezer as well. Then immediately closes the door, and Marco is writhing in pain inside. He dies in agony, and in one stroke all the blood in his body dries up. The plane comes back and lands at the airport where a lot of policemen surround the plane from all sides, but then Elena comes there who is trying to save Thon. She leaves him, after which Thon goes and meets Nora, and then everyone happily enjoys the Christmas day. This was the information I wanted to tell you, and with this, friends, this story ends here. I request you please subscribe my channel and like my video. Thank you.